Good morning, everyone. Good morning from the UK. Welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out in the forest again on my way to work on a warm and wet morning. And to quote Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam, it's hot and it's wet. It's all right if you're a lady, not so good if you're a GI. Good morning to you all, or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are. Welcome along. Today, I'm putting out videos more often than I normally do, but I feel that as I'm heading off to work and I can spare a few minutes, I have to comment about what happened yesterday. So yesterday, millions, and I'm talking about millions of people took to the streets to protest government's plans. And we're not just talking about here in the UK, we're talking about Australia, we're talking about people in Israel, across Europe, people around the world are protesting lockdowns and vaccine passports. Why? Because it's not fair. Of course it's not fair. But the problem that we have now is that while we have millions of people on the street, we have millions more that are pushing back against it and saying, no, vaccine passports are a good thing. Why is that? Now, I as I've said before many times, I don't take part in protests. They do nothing. You know, look, no, I'm not deriding the people that do, because, you know, we all have to do what we can to stand in the face of tyranny, okay? Now, if you feel that protests are going to, you know, raise your voice, it displays something to other people, you know, it displays something to other people, but it doesn't sway politicians. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. Politicians don't care about the people that they're supposed to represent. And it's evidenced by back when the UK, Tony Blair, that criminal, that war criminal who should be in prison, people protested in the millions in the streets here in the UK when they were talking about going to war in Afghanistan and war in Iraq. And the government just said, well, we're doing it anyway. Are they representatives of the people? Really? Really? And this support for these kind of measures, where does it come from? Well, if you gin up fear in people, which is what's happened over the last 18 months, gin up fear to the point where people are so scared that they're not making rational decisions, then of course they're going to support the most tyrannical, ridiculous efforts to suppress information and to confine people, because it's control, you know. The government has used propaganda on the people, legally, through the media. Okay? The media is the government's propaganda arm. And if you have a look at the rhetoric that they've ramped up over the last 18 months about what's been going on, then you understand why people live in such fear. I understand. I do. But, you know, I was having a discussion on Facebook just this morning, last night and this morning, and I said, here's the statistical data for the last 5 years. Statistical data, and you know how much I love statistics. If you've been here any period of time, you know how much I love statistics. Statistical data showing the last 5 years. Go and have a look at the statistical data. Here in the UK, it's the Office of National Statistics. They have those offices all around the world. Wherever you are, go and have a look. Just have a look at the statistical data. That's all you need to do. Not believe me, not believe some conspiracy theorist on the internet who's obviously crazy. What was the quote I heard the other day from someone who commented on my video? And thank you for that, because it's, I like to collect these unique badges of honor. That's how I see them. Badges of honor where people have called me something unique. I get called names all the time, and that's cool. I don't mind it. I can handle it. I really can. Don't call me stupid. Fish called Wanda. Anyway, but I got called a name the other day, and it was a first class Fruit Loop. And I really did appreciate it. I thought it was brilliant. So thank you for that. Don't believe me. I don't expect anybody to believe a word that I say, and I don't provide, sometimes I provide links because it's sort of essential to the narrative of what I'm saying. To back up something, but generally I expect, well, not expect. That's too big a word. If I talk about something and you disagree, which is perfectly cool. This channel, let's just take a step back for just a moment. This channel is me talking my thoughts and opinions. That's what it is on current events, things that are in the public consciousness, and how I see things panning out. What I see right now is divisive, divide and conquer. Now, when I talk about things on this channel, some of those subjects are going to trigger you. I don't care if you agree with most of what I say or disagree with most of what I say, but there are going to be things that I say that you're not going to agree with. And that's fine. You know, my friends, I've had friends for 20, 30 years. They don't agree with a lot of what I think, but they're still my friends. And, you know, this is the problem in our society. Like, you know, we've been conditioned into this point where, oh, I disagree with you on that one point, so that's it. You're cast out. You know, I have many times got very angry with people, and, you know, and blasted on them. You know, I do. You know, I'm human, the same as everybody else. But generally, I'll push back very, very hard when I have a lot of pushback on me. So if I say something that you disagree with, that's cool. Let's have a discussion about it. You know, let's not resort to name calling and just put downs, because if that's what we come to, then this is the idea of this divide and conquer is successful. And that's what it's all about. It's about dividing us. The real issue here, is that who is doing the divisiveness? You know, it's the media, social media especially, and big tech. Now, I'll offer some, sorry, a bit sweaty today. I'll offer some background on that if you'd like. There's a few different search engines that you can use. Okay, there's Google, obviously, everybody knows about Google. There's Bing, there's DuckDuckGo. Now, the way that the algorithms put the information together is secretive. No one knows what it is except the people who wrote it, right? And what the likes of Google tell us is that their algorithm just puts together the main searches and collates that and says, okay, this is the most searched thing, and puts it at the top. It's not true. Of course it's not true. It's easy to, once you know, there's something called SEO, search engine optimization, okay? This will give you a sort of a grasp of what we're talking about here. Search engine optimization. If you've ever built a website, know somebody who builds websites, you'll know what I'm talking about. Or go and ask, or go and look what search engine optimization is. Search engine optimization is where you use keywords, certain phrases, links to put your website at the top of the search bar. So if you want to get to the top of Google search for a particular subject, then there are a bunch of tools that you can use, search engine optimizations, to put you at the top of that tool, at the top of the list for people searching, okay? Now, there's an organization that appears at the top of Google searches very regularly called Snopes. Now, Snopes is supposed to be an independent fact-checking site. Snopes is a pile of bullshit. George Soros funded, you know, if you don't know who George Soros is, he's a Nazi collaborator. And that's not my opinion. That's him saying that. And I will link the video of him being interviewed on 60 Minutes, yes, 60 Minutes, in the US, where he talks about collaborating with the Nazis in World War II. Okay, Nazi collaborator, George Soros, funds Snopes, in addition to a bunch of very, very left-wing fact-checking organisations and what's the word I'm looking for? Organisations that try to prove that statistical data being quoted by the likes of me is incorrect. Let's put it that way. That's the easiest way I can do it to make sure that I'm not going to be banned on this channel. So we have a situation right now where we have millions of people pushing back on their governments, millions around the world. Governments being ever more tyrannical. I mean, look what the Prime Minister of Israel came out and said the other day. He said that that people who haven't taken the thing in their arm are the enemy, basically. They're the ones that are making us all sick. That's what he said. So, strongly encourage them, and then he got people out in the street protesting, getting beaten by police. Well, that's normal. But we have a situation here where the governments are not representing us, but they're acting in tandem. Do you think that's strange? Does anyone think that's strange? Does anyone think it's really odd that all the governments at the same time are ticking boxes and saying, this is what we're doing? It all started out with 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and then it went to masks, and then it went to, well, when we have the thing that you can stick in your arm for the most vulnerable in our society, to now everybody has to have it. Do we see a progression here, or is it just me? Or am I just being the conspiracy theorist that everybody says that I am? Governments are not representative of the people. What's being evidenced in the US at the moment is that governments are not elected, but selected. There's a difference in the spelling, just in case you couldn't tell by my accent. And I was accused of mumbling the other day, so I want to make sure that I'm perfectly, perfectly saying the words that you can understand. Not elected, but selected. Selected, okay? So, if they are selected, are they representing the people that they're supposed to be representing? Or are they representing a NGO, non-governmental organisation like the UN or the World Economic Forum or the World Bank or anything with the world in front of it? World Bank, all these World Economic Forum, World Government. Here's something else that's curious, okay? Just to take us further down the conspiracy path, because that's where I live. Obviously, because I'm crazy. Does anybody think that it's odd that there's multiple countries using the slogan, build back better? Okay? So we've got Canada, we've got the UK, many places around the world, New Zealand, Australia, they're using the slogan, build back better. Why are they all using that? Where does it come from? And what does it mean? I mean, honestly, what does it mean? Build back better? Because there's no clarification on that. Oh, we've got to build back better. Build what? Build what back better? Build the world back better? From what? Governments have made the world the way that it is because of the regulations that they put in place and allowed companies to operate the way that they have, polluting the atmosphere, polluting the air, polluting the water, polluting the food, poisons everywhere. You've got Johnson & Johnson, the company, was fined millions of dollars, or billions I think it was, 1.9 billion, because it was proven that talcum powder is carcinogenic. But I'm sure the thing that you stick in the arm is just fine. Then we've got companies like Monsanto that were sued, and they lost the case, where someone sued them because they had cancer from using one of their products called Roundup. Carcinogen, known carcinogen, okay? They were fined, they lost the case. Proven, okay? Pfizer, they've been fined billions over the years for lots of different things. I'm not going to tell you, go and look, because you're not going to believe me, and I don't expect you to. Go and have a look what Pfizer's been, the court cases adjudicated against them, and look at the fines that they paid, and for what. Okay? Then we have the financial institutions that are telling us, anti-money laundering and all the rest of the garbage that they're talking about. All of them, all the big players, all of them, I don't care who they are. Barclays was fined for manipulating the LIBOR, which is the interbank lending rate. Nearly all of them have been done for money laundering. But yet they're going to lecture you and me on how we can use and move our money. Does anyone see a pattern forming here? And it's not just one thing, it's everything. And I've said it many, many, many times before. Everything is linked together. Everything. This entire thing that's happening right now is designed to shut down the world economy, cause food shortages, because obviously production is shut down. You can't run a society without production. If you've got no one going to work to produce the things that we require to live, like toilet paper for all those people that go on a toilet paper binge. Oh, I'm going to run out of toilet paper. If that's what you're really worried about, you're worried about not having enough toilet paper, your priorities are ass backwards. Yes, I did just say that. It's what's happening is a financial reset. The world is trillions, hundreds of trillions in debt. 200 trillion last time I looked. 200 trillion in debt. How could that ever be paid back? Okay. All the money that was ever created, all of it, by central banks and by commercial banks, all of that money that's ever been created, and if you don't know how money creation works, go back a few videos and you'll see. I explain it quite clearly, how it all works. It's fractional reserve banking and all that. Go back and have a look at the video. It explains it really well. All the money that's ever been created has been created with interest attached. Okay? So let's just say $1, £1, €1, wherever you are in the world, doesn't really matter, is created. Okay? $1, £1, €1 is created. But it has interest attached. Let's just say for rounding purposes that there's a 10% interest that's attached. It's not, but let's just say it is. How do you pay that 10% back if only $1, €1, pound has been created? How do you pay that extra 10%? Where does it come from? I mean, obviously I don't understand it because I'm too stupid. But it's a pretty simple thing to try and break down when you think, okay, this is how much money's been created. This is the interest attached to it. Where does the extra money come from? And when I say the word money in this sense, the cash that we use on a daily basis, that fiat currency that the governments issue, isn't money. It's a piece of paper. It's worthless. And especially now, it's more worthless because they just keep on printing it into oblivion. So every extra dollar that they print means that all the rest that's already in existence becomes worth less, which means your buying power goes down. Now, last month in the US, the inflation index was at 5%. 5%, which means you can purchase 5% less with your fiat currency. 5% less, which means prices have gone up 5% in that month. Okay, and as they print more money, the money becomes even worth less again, which means what? That your buying power goes down even more. You see a pattern here? The pattern is that it's another tax. Inflation is another tax, and it's happening. They're inflating the currency, and they're talking about the inflation's going to go on, and it could go up higher. Janet Yellen's even saying, well, it was supposed to be transitory, but it probably lasts a little bit longer. We're going to a hyperinflation situation, maybe not as bad as Zimbabwe, but it's going to get pretty bad, where your wages aren't going to keep up with what things cost. Have a look at the fuel costs. Have a look at your shopping costs. Look around you. Are things costing more money? This is about a complete shutdown of the economy to reboot it into something, the Build Back Better thing, into something brand new, the digital economy, where it is controlled by central bank digital currency. I've been talking about this, on and off for, a few years now. But, I've been widely mocked and humiliated. And, well, I don't get humiliated because I don't care. But, people try to humiliate me based on their viewpoint that is based in propaganda. They have no idea what they're talking about. All that said, I am filled with hope. I'm filled with hope. I am. It fills me with joy to see so many people out in the street, so many people coming together. My wife yesterday went to, it was only a small march here in the UK because she had other things to do in the morning with the children, so she couldn't go to the whole march. But she went to a march yesterday, and millions of people in London. I had friends there, and so many people coming out. It fills me with hope for our future. That so many people are seeing what's going on now, and more people are seeing it every day, as evidenced by what's happening with this channel. And I'm every day I see more people joining me for these walks and talks, and it's humbling. I hope that I can live up to and keep you entertained, because it's it's almost like a weight that's there to say, okay, now you've really got to step up your game. But I appreciate everybody being here, and I appreciate people going out and voicing their opinions and speaking, and standing in the face of this tyranny that's upon us. I am hopeful, and I do believe that in the end of this entire thing, God wins. What's happening right now is evil. People's rights being taken away, and people are dying at the hands of governments. People are committing suicide because they're so fearful and scared, or just completely ruined financially by this. But what happened yesterday should enliven us all, and embolden us all to stand up and voice our concerns, or even just ask questions. You don't have to be the person that's out there screaming on the street corner, or starting a YouTube channel, or starting conversations. You don't have to be that person, but you do have to stand at some point and say, no more. I'm not doing it. I'm not going along with your plan. I'm not going along with the nonsense anymore, because it's gotten to a point now that it's not about saving lives. It's not about anything other than the financial reset. So I hope that if this message resonates with you, and you feel that it could benefit people, that you'd like to share it, or hit the like button or the dislike button. If you don't think it's worthwhile, if you think I'm just talking shit, then that's cool. I don't mind. I'm not a news reader. I'm not paid millions of dollars. I don't monetize this channel. I'm not looking for donations. It's not about money. It's not about power. It's not about fame or influence or anything to do with that. I have some plans for the future. I've had many people tell me, you're ruining your career by doing what you're doing, Chris. Okay. If my career that I've been doing for 30 something years is ruined by me having an opinion, then you know what? I don't want to do it. My career, that is. But it won't be. I know it won't be, because people like me are in demand, because I actually do some work. In fact, that's where I'm heading. So all that said, look, decide what's true for you. I'm not here to tell you what the truth is. I'm here to express my opinion. Then you get to decide what you believe. It's as simple as that. But if you like it, share it. If you don't. It's cool with me. But all that said, look, raise your voice. Be positive, and understand that there are a lot of people that think and feel the same way, or at least questioning what's going on. And we should. Because in a world where you don't question anything, you can easily be manipulated and controlled, and that's not where we want to live. So get out there, share some love with people, give them a hug. People have been so long without having any human contact. How do you think that's what that does to their immune system? Get out there and give some people some love. Give them a hug, give them a kiss, and maybe we can just change the world with what we're doing, because that's what we need to do. Not this build back better nonsense, but change the world to the way that we want it, through our thoughts, our actions, and our feelings. All right, love you all. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you real soon. Ciao for now.